What if I told you that $1 million starts with just a thought? Welcome to Detailed Book Summaries, where we break down life changing books to help you grow smarter and richer, one chapter at a time. In today's video, we're diving into Think and Grow Rich, the mindset that builds wealth by Napoleon Hill. This isn't just a book summary, it's a success blueprint used by millionaires around the world. You'll discover the 13 principles that turn desire into riches and a simple mindset shift that could completely change your financial future. So grab a notebook, hit that subscribe button, and don't forget to like and share if you believe your thoughts can shape your destiny. Let's unlock the secrets inside Think and Grow Rich, because your $1 million journey might just begin here. Chapter 1. The Power of Thought, Desire, the starting point of all achievement. Napoleon Hill opens Think and Grow Rich with a bold message. Success starts in your mind. He insists that the foundation of all achievement is a burning desire, one that is clear, unwavering, and almost obsessive. He illustrates this with the story of Edwin C. Barnes, a man with no money, no notable connections, and no real qualifications, but with one audacious goal: to go into business with the great Thomas Edison. Barnes didn't just wish for this. He made a decision, backed it with intense desire, and took immediate action. He boarded a freight train, showed up at Edison's office uninvited, and declared his intention. He wasn't offered a glamorous job. Instead, he started at the bottom, but he didn't care. That desire burned within him until a moment came when Edison needed someone to sell a new invention that others had ignored. Barnes saw the opportunity, seized it, and eventually earned a business partnership with Edison. Hill uses this story to drive home a critical point. Dreams don't come true through passive wishes. They require a definitive, persistent desire. This kind of desire transforms thoughts into actions and obstacles into stepping stones. You can't just hope for success. You have to decide you want it, and want it so badly that nothing can stop you. According to Hill, that's when the universe starts to shift in your favor. Thoughts, when combined with desire and backed by action, become real. And that's where your journey to riches, financial or otherwise, truly begins. Napoleon Hill doesn't waste time dancing around the idea. He gets right to it. Faith, he says, is the glue that binds your burning desire to real-world results. If desire is the engine, faith is the fuel. But he's not talking about blind religious faith. He's talking about an unshakable belief in your vision, one so strong that it starts to shape your actions, decisions, and even the way the world responds to you. Hill argues that belief is a state of mind that can be created through repetition and self-suggestion. You don't need to wait for faith to magically show up. You build it one thought at a time. He introduces the idea of autosuggestion, feeding your subconscious mind with affirmations and visualizations so consistently that your belief system begins to shift. You start thinking and acting like someone who already possesses what they're aiming for. And when your subconscious is aligned with your conscious goals, your whole system, thoughts, emotions, behavior, moves in sync toward success. Hill stresses that this kind of faith is essential for overcoming setbacks. Without belief in your ability to succeed, the first failure or moment of doubt can crush you. But with it, failure becomes feedback, not a dead end, but a detour. He points to examples of highly successful people who didn't just dream, they believed. They visualized their goals so vividly and believed in them so deeply that the world eventually caught up with their inner reality. Faith, according to Hill, is not optional. It's a mental habit, cultivated through repetition and practice, that turns thoughts into a conviction so strong that it demands manifestation. You must see the success in your mind before anyone else can see it in your reality. And once you do that, once you mix desire with belief, you've laid the foundation for unstoppable momentum. Chapter 2. Faith, Visualization, and Belief in the Attainment of Desire. Napoleon Hill doesn't waste time dancing around the idea. He gets right to it. Faith, he says, is the glue that binds your burning desire to real-world results. If desire is the engine, faith is the fuel. But he's not talking about blind religious faith. He's talking about an unshakable belief in your vision, one so strong that it starts to shape your actions, decisions, and even the way the world responds to you. Hill argues that belief is a state of mind that can be created through repetition and self-suggestion. You don't need to wait for faith to magically show up. You build it one thought at a time. He introduces the idea of autosuggestion, feeding your subconscious mind with affirmations and visualizations so consistently that your belief system begins to shift. You start thinking and acting like someone who already possesses what they're aiming for. And when your subconscious is aligned with your conscious goals, your whole system, thoughts, emotions, behavior, moves in sync toward success. Hill stresses that this kind of faith is essential for overcoming setbacks. Without belief in your ability to succeed, the first failure or moment of doubt can crush you. But with it, failure becomes feedback, not a dead end, but a detour. He points to examples of highly successful people who didn't just dream, they believed. They visualized their goals so vividly and believed in them so deeply that the world eventually caught up with their inner reality. Faith, according to Hill, is not optional. It's a mental habit, cultivated through repetition and practice, that turns thoughts into a conviction so strong that it demands manifestation. You must see the success in your mind before anyone else can see it in your reality. And once you do that, once you mix desire with belief, you've laid the foundation for unstoppable momentum. Chapter 3, Autosuggestion, the medium for influencing the subconscious mind. Napoleon Hill dives deeper into the engine room of success, your subconscious mind. He argues that thoughts alone aren't enough. You have to program your subconscious to believe in your goals. And the way to do that is through autosuggestion. This isn't wishful thinking or daydreaming. It's a deliberate, disciplined practice of feeding your mind with clear, emotionally charged instructions until it has no choice but to respond. Hill insists that whatever you repeat to yourself, with emotion and consistency, eventually becomes embedded in your subconscious. That's the power of autosuggestion. It bypasses logic, bypasses doubt, and implants a new version of reality, one where you already possess what you desire. It's the difference between saying, I hope I'll be successful, and declaring, I am becoming wealthy and powerful. One is passive, the other is directive. But here's the catch. It only works when you back it with emotion. Repeating words with no belief or feeling behind them is like shouting into a void. Nothing echoes back. But when you repeat your affirmations with conviction, when you visualize the outcome, feel the success, and speak it into your day, your subconscious starts taking those signals seriously. It adjusts your actions, your focus, and even your attitude to align with that inner script. Hill provides a formula. Write out your definite chief aim. Speak it aloud twice a day, once in the morning and once at night, and see, hear, and feel it as if it's already true. Over time, your inner dialogue transforms from doubt to determination, from fear to certainty. This chapter isn't just about affirmations. It's about building internal alignment. If your subconscious doesn't believe what your conscious mind wants, you'll sabotage yourself every time. But if you can bring both into harmony through autosuggestion, you unlock the potential to shape reality from the inside out. It's not magic, it's mental conditioning. And for Hill, it's non-negotiable if you want to think and grow rich. Chapter 4, Specialized Knowledge, Personal Experiences or Observations. In this chapter, Napoleon Hill draws a clear line between general knowledge and specialized knowledge. General knowledge, he says, is like a library that's never organized. Useful, sure, but not powerful on its own. It doesn't lead to wealth unless it's channeled and directed. That's where specialized knowledge comes in. It's the focused, actionable, and often narrow area of understanding that can be leveraged into real results, especially when combined with a clear purpose. Hill explains that you don't need to know everything. In fact, trying to know everything is a waste of time. What you need is the right kind of knowledge, the stuff that directly relates to your goals. You can even borrow it. If you don't have the specialized knowledge yourself, build a network, hire people, read books, take courses, whatever it takes. The real power lies in your ability to organize and apply that knowledge. He gives the example of Henry Ford. Ford didn't have a traditional education. He didn't know all the answers, but he surrounded himself with people who did. He built a system that pulled in expertise, refined it, and executed with focus. Ford's genius wasn't in knowing everything. It was in knowing what mattered and putting it to use. Hill drives home a critical point. Education never stops. The world changes. Markets shift. Technologies evolve. If you want to stay ahead, You got to keep learning, but not in a scattered way. You must become a student of your mission, always seeking knowledge that feeds your one definite goal. So if you're trying to build wealth, stop trying to become a jack of all trades. Choose your path. Get specific. Learn deeply. Surround yourself with experts if you have to. The people who win in business and life aren't the ones who know the most. They're the ones who know what to do with what they know. That's the difference specialized knowledge makes. Chapter 5. Imagination, the workshop of the mind. Imagination is where all great things are born. In this chapter, Napoleon Hill calls it the workshop of the mind, the space where desire is molded into action and action into success. Every invention, every business, every fortune started as an idea, an invisible force inside someone's mind. But not all imagination is equal. Hill breaks it into two forms, synthetic and creative. Synthetic imagination is about rearranging existing ideas, concepts, and knowledge into new combinations. It's what most entrepreneurs and business owners use when they take something already working and improve it. Think about fast food chains, streaming services, or delivery apps. None of these are brand new concepts, but the people behind them use synthetic imagination to bring fresh value to the market. Creative imagination, on the other hand, is where true originality is born. It's the kind of imagination that taps into the subconscious, where new ideas flow in without effort. According to Hill, creative imagination is what inventors, artists, and visionaries use when they channel something entirely new into existence. It's unpredictable, but incredibly powerful. Now, Hill doesn't romanticize imagination. He says plainly, imagination by itself is nothing unless it's put to use. Desire fuels it. Action makes it real. You need a clear goal, backed by a burning desire, to ignite the imagination in any meaningful way. That's when your mind starts working on solutions, spotting opportunities, and connecting the dots in ways others miss. Hill reminds us that imagination isn't reserved for creative types. It's a tool, one that can be trained, sharpened, and directed. He encourages readers to schedule time for thinking. Carve out quiet moments where your mind can wander. That's often where the best ideas hide, right beneath the noise. So if you've got a goal but no path yet, use your imagination to find one. Sketch it, stretch it, steal what works, and twist it into something better. Just don't sit still and hope success falls into your lap. Every great achievement started in someone's head. Now it's your turn to use yours. Chapter 6. Organized planning. The crystallization of desire into action. Desire without a plan is just wishful thinking. In Chapter 6 of Think and Grow Rich, Napoleon Hill brings us back to earth with a tough love truth. If you want success, you need a strategy. This chapter is where dreams start taking real shape. It's where you stop thinking about success and start moving toward it, step by step. Hill doesn't sugarcoat the fact that most people fail because they never develop a solid plan. Or worse, they create one and give up the moment it doesn't work out. But here's the kicker. Failure is part of the process. If plan A bombs, make plan B. If that flops, adjust and move on to plan C. The people who win are the ones who refuse to quit just because the first blueprint wasn't perfect. Hill lays out a clear message. Organize your plan and surround yourself with smart people. He introduces the idea of a mastermind group, a trusted circle of advisors who help sharpen your thinking and keep you accountable. These are people you collaborate with who offer feedback, ideas, and connections. And no, they don't have to be geniuses. They just need to be aligned with your vision and committed to growing with you. Once your plan is drafted, it's time for action. Hill insists on decisive, continuous movement. Don't just make lists. Execute. Tweak. Keep going. You'll likely stumble. Most people do. But Hill says failure isn't the enemy. It's just a signal that something needs to be changed. Some of the most successful people he studied had to go through multiple failures before hitting gold. And don't forget about timing. Hill reminds us that opportunity rarely shouts. Often it whispers. That's why organized planning is so critical. It trains you to spot those quiet openings and pounce on them with clarity and purpose. The bottom line? Ideas are cheap. Planning is where the rubber meets the road. You've got your desire, your faith, your imagination. And now, It's time to build a structure that holds them all up. Without a plan, you're just dreaming. With one, you're on the path to becoming unstoppable. Chapter 7, Decision, the Mastery of Procrastination. In Chapter 7 of Think and Grow Rich, Napoleon Hill fires a direct shot at the one silent killer of dreams, procrastination. This chapter is about decision, clear, confident, timely decision. Hill says it flat out. Successful people make decisions quickly and firmly. Unsuccessful people, they're slow, hesitant, and constantly second-guessing themselves. And if that stings a little, it should. Because the ability to make decisions is one of the strongest predictors of whether you'll achieve wealth or stay stuck fantasizing about it. Hill explains that indecision breeds doubt, and doubt breeds fear. And once fear takes root, it paralyzes action. You end up stuck in a cycle where you're waiting for the perfect moment, the perfect plan, the perfect conditions, which never come. Meanwhile, opportunities pass you by, snapped up by people who are willing to act even when they're uncertain. A key point Hill emphasizes is that many of the world's most powerful individuals, those who built fortunes and empires, were known for their ability to make decisions swiftly. That didn't mean they never changed their minds. But when they did, it was after careful thought, not because they were being swayed by public opinion or external pressure. They didn't wait around for consensus or approval. They followed their gut, their plan, and their vision. He also warns about allowing friends, family, and media to cloud your decision-making. People love giving opinions, especially when they haven't built anything themselves. If you're not careful, you'll find yourself being directed by the fear and doubt of others rather than your own ambition. This chapter is a wake-up call. If you've been dragging your feet on making an important move, starting a business, investing, making a career change, Hill is practically yelling at you to stop waiting. Start acting. Decide. Even if your decision isn't perfect, movement is better than paralysis. Because in the end, wealth doesn't come to those who wait. It comes to those who decide, with courage, with conviction, and with an unwavering belief that movement beats hesitation every single time. Chapter 8, Persistence, the sustained effort necessary to induce faith. In Chapter 8 of Think and Grow Rich, Napoleon Hill hits on a trait that separates the winners from the wishers: persistence. This isn't about raw talent, genius-level intellect, or even luck. It's about your ability to keep going when things get hard, boring, or uncertain. Hill lays it out clearly. Without persistence, your desire will fizzle out. Your plans will crumble. Your faith will fade. And your dream? It'll die slowly in the background while you chase short-term comfort. Hill describes persistence as the iron quality of character, the bulldog grip that refuses to let go. Most people give up after the first no, the first obstacle, or the first big failure. They confuse temporary defeat with permanent failure. But those who truly succeed understand this. Rejection, obstacles, and setbacks are not signs to stop. They're signals to push harder. This chapter breaks down how persistence is developed. It's not something you're born with. It's built through habit, by consistently showing up for your goals, even when motivation is nowhere to be found. Hill says that having a strong desire, a clear purpose, a solid plan, and a mind closed to negative influence is how you build that muscle. When those elements are in place, persistence stops being a struggle. It becomes your second nature. Hill also calls out a dangerous enemy: procrastination, which is often masked as waiting for the right time. He warns that those who lack persistence will forever be slaves to circumstances. They'll keep adjusting their dreams to fit their comfort zones, instead of adjusting their actions to meet their goals. He goes even further, showing how persistence has fueled every great achievement. Thomas Edison failed over 10,000 times before inventing the light bulb. Henry Ford was laughed out of meetings, bankrupt at times, but he didn't stop. The Wright brothers had more crashes than successful flights, but they stayed with it. Why? Because they were persistent beyond reason. This chapter is your test. Do you keep showing up when it's hard? When nobody believes in you? When nothing seems to be working? That's when it counts the most. Hill says that those who win are simply those who keep going long enough. Not faster, not smarter, just longer. So if you're tempted to quit, take a breath. Rethink your plan. Maybe, but don't let go of your desire. Because persistence is what keeps your vision alive, even when the world tries to bury it. Chapter 9, Power of the Mastermind, the Driving Force. In Chapter 9 of Think and Grow Rich, Napoleon Hill introduces one of the most misunderstood but powerful concepts behind long-term success, the mastermind. Not just a brainstorming group or some fancy club. The mastermind is a coordination of knowledge and effort between two or more people who work together in perfect harmony toward a definite purpose. Hill argues that no individual has ever achieved great power or fortune without tapping into the power of a mastermind. The idea is simple, but the impact is massive. When two minds come together in harmony, they form a third, invisible force, a third mind that's greater than the sum of its parts. This shared mental energy leads to better ideas, stronger plans, and more relentless execution. You gain access to thoughts, strategies, perspectives, and insights that you couldn't possibly reach on your own. Hill is quick to differentiate between just hanging out with people and forming a true mastermind alliance. It's not about surrounding yourself with anyone. It's about carefully choosing people whose minds complement yours, whose values align with your mission, and who are as obsessed with achieving the goal as you are. Weak alliances based on convenience won't do. This is about collaboration with intention. One of the key ideas Hill pushes here is that power doesn't reside in a vacuum. You can have desire, faith, persistence, and a plan, but without power, none of it matters. And in Hill's framework, power is organized knowledge and energy put into action. The mastermind is how you organize and expand that power. Look at any successful entrepreneur, political leader, or industry titan. They all had a circle. Edison had his lab team. Henry Ford had his industrial brain trust. Carnegie had a team of thinkers and doers behind the scenes. None of them climbed to the top alone. They leveraged the collective brain power and energy of others. And you should too. Hill also touches on another benefit of the mastermind, emotional harmony. When you align with people who are mentally and emotionally in sync with your purpose, your belief system gets reinforced. Your energy multiplies. Motivation is easier to maintain. Problems get solved faster. It's less lonely, less confusing, and way more powerful. This chapter isn't just a call to build a network. It's a challenge to build a circle of power. A small, committed alliance of people who push each other, hold each other accountable, and feed off each other's strengths. That's the real mastermind, and it can turn an ordinary dream into an unstoppable movement. So, if you're walking this road alone, maybe that's what's slowing you down. Find your mastermind. Build it, feed it, and use it, not just to grow rich, but to grow into the kind of person who never has to do it all alone again. Chapter 10, The Mystery of Sex Transmutation, Channeling Energy for Greatness. In Chapter 10 of Think and Grow Rich, Napoleon Hill explores a subject most self-help books shy away from: sex. But not in the way you'd expect. Hill isn't talking about pleasure. He's talking about energy, raw, powerful, primal energy that, when redirected or transmuted, can fuel genius, creativity, ambition, and achievement. Here's the key idea. Sexual energy is one of the most potent forces we possess, and most people waste it. They chase momentary satisfaction instead of learning to harness it. But those who figure out how to transmute that energy, those who can channel their desire into a burning obsession for their goals, are the ones who accomplish extraordinary things. Hill observed that the most successful men throughout history, people like Napoleon, Lincoln, and Edison, had incredibly strong sex drives. But instead of letting that energy run wild, they redirected it into their life's work. He refers to this process as sex transmutation, transforming one form of energy, sexual desire, into another form, drive, focus, creativity, leadership, wealth. He makes a bold claim. No man can rise to great heights of success without being driven by a strong sex nature, but that drive must be controlled. The physical expression of sex is fleeting, but when that energy is lifted into the mind and given direction, it becomes a superpower. This isn't some mystical theory. It's about emotional and chemical reality. The same biological fire that creates life can also fuel innovation, courage, magnetism, and charisma. People who transmute their sexual energy often radiate confidence and enthusiasm. Others are drawn to them, and that magnetism helps them gain influence and support. Hill also emphasizes the role of love in this equation. Love, he says, is the emotion which serves as a safety valve, and ensures balance, poise, and constructive effort. Without it, the energy can become destructive. It's not about denying desire, it's about elevating it. Sex, love, and romance, when combined, can inspire the mind, supercharge the imagination, and transform desire into genius. So, what does this mean for you? It means taking a hard look at how you use your energy. Are you wasting it on distraction and temporary highs? Or are you training yourself to harness it, focus it, and drive it into your vision? Transmutation is a discipline, a mental practice. It's the art of taking something base and making it brilliant. Chapter 10 challenges you to stop seeing your impulses as weaknesses and start using them as tools. When controlled and redirected, your most powerful urges can become the engine of your success. And once you figure that out, you tap into a kind of fuel that never runs out. Chapter 11, the subconscious mind, a connecting link. In Chapter 11 of Think and Grow Rich, Napoleon Hill dives into one of the most powerful forces shaping your life, your subconscious mind. This isn't some abstract spiritual concept. Hill treats the subconscious as a living, breathing force, constantly at work, absorbing, reacting, influencing, and more importantly, executing the thoughts and emotions you feed it. The subconscious mind acts like fertile soil. It doesn't care what you plant, negative thoughts or positive ones, fear or faith, failure or success. Whatever you consistently sow, it will grow. That's why Hill is emphatic. You must be deliberate about what you allow into your subconscious. Here's the kicker. Your subconscious doesn't sleep. It's always on, always recording, always working the background. It's like your internal operating system, quietly executing programs based on the thoughts, beliefs, and emotions you repeat most often. And this is where most people go wrong. They let garbage in, doubt, fear, frustration, and then wonder why their life keeps looping in the same unproductive pattern. Hill says that emotion is the gateway to the subconscious. It's not enough to think positively, you have to feel it. When a thought is charged with emotion, especially emotions like desire, faith, love, or even fear, it sinks deep into your subconscious and begins to influence your behavior, decisions, and outcomes. This is where autosuggestion from Chapter 4 ties back in. Every time you repeat your definite purpose aloud with emotion, you're programming your subconscious to accept it as truth. And once your subconscious accepts something as true, it works day and night to make it happen, whether you realize it or not. Another key point: the subconscious mind connects to infinite intelligence, a higher source of knowledge and ideas. This is why breakthroughs often feel like they come out of nowhere. That gut feeling, that sudden idea, that hunch you can't explain, that's the subconscious mind doing its job. It's constantly pulling in information and opportunities and handing them to you, if you're paying attention. But there's a dark side too. If you let fear, worry, jealousy, anger, or resentment dominate your thoughts, your subconscious accepts those emotions and begins to create experiences that match them. That's why managing your emotional state is non-negotiable. You are either programming your mind or it's being programmed for you, by the news, by society, by your past, or by people around you. So what should you do? Hill gives it straight. Feed your subconscious with your burning desire, saturated in faith and emotion. Repeat your goals, visualize them, feel them. Eliminate doubt. Stay away from negative influences. Guard your mind like a fortress. And know that your subconscious will never fail to act on the dominant thoughts you feed it. Chapter 11 is a call to personal accountability. You're not a victim of circumstance. You're the product of the thoughts and feelings you've accepted as true. Change those, and everything else begins to shift. Your subconscious is always working. The only question is, what is it working on for you? Chapter 12, the brain, a broadcasting and receiving station for thought. In Chapter 12 of Think and Grow Rich, Napoleon Hill elevates the discussion from the subconscious mind to the power of the brain as both a transmitter and receiver thought. And no, this isn't metaphorical fluff. Hill means this literally. He argues that your brain is a vibrational instrument, constantly broadcasting your dominant thoughts and receiving vibrations from others. Think about that. Every time you focus intently on a desire or emotion, especially when it's emotionally charged, you're not just thinking in isolation, you're sending out signals. And according to Hill, these signals attract similar energies, ideas, people, and circumstances back to you. Your thoughts are not just mental, they're energetic. Here's where it gets wild. When your brain is operating at a high frequency, charged with emotion, faith, and purpose, it begins to tune into the thoughts and energies of others operating on a similar level. That's why when you're deeply passionate about a goal, the right person suddenly appears, or the perfect idea hits you in the shower, or someone introduces you to a key connection by chance. Hill says that's not coincidence. It's communication. It's your brain receiving what it has been seeking. But it's not automatic. You can't send out static and expect clarity back. The strength of your broadcast depends on intensity. That means a vague wish won't cut it. You have to be clear, emotional, and persistent. The more emotion and faith behind your thoughts, the stronger the signal. Hill also explains how sex energy, which he covers in detail in Chapter 11, can be redirected or transmuted to fuel this broadcast power. It's about harnessing raw emotion and converting it into focused, creative thought. It's not about suppression. It's about redirection. When you take powerful emotional energy and apply it to your goals, your brain enters a state of heightened vibration. And in that state, it becomes a magnet for insights, inspiration, and powerful human connections. But the key is consistency. Most people let their thoughts bounce all over the place, driven by worry, distractions, negativity. That's like sending out a garbled radio signal. To tune into results, you must stay focused, emotionally engaged, and faithful to your vision. This is mental discipline on another level. And here's something Hill stresses. You're never thinking alone. There's a collective consciousness. Your thoughts mix with others. That's why surrounding yourself with positive, goal-oriented people matters. Their mental vibrations can influence yours, and yours can influence them. This mutual exchange is amplified in environments like masterminds, where aligned minds focus on shared goals. So, what's the big takeaway from Chapter 12? Your brain is a broadcasting and receiving station. Use it wisely. Be deliberate about the thoughts you focus on. Charge them with faith, desire, and emotional energy. Keep your mental signal strong. And understand that the universe is always listening and responding. This isn't theory. This is a science of thought in action. You're not just a thinker. You're a transmitter. So, what are you broadcasting today? Chapter 13, The Sixth Sense, the Door to the Temple of Wisdom. In Chapter 13 of Think and Grow Rich, Napoleon Hill introduces a concept that feels more mystical than mechanical, the sixth sense. By now, you've developed the tools: desire, faith, specialized knowledge, organized planning, decision, persistence, the power of the mastermind, and more. But the sixth sense is different. It's the culmination of everything that came before it. Hill calls it the door to the temple of wisdom. It's the hunch, the gut feeling, the sudden insight that hits you out of nowhere, but it's never truly random. Here's the catch. You can't force the sixth sense. It shows up when your mind is fully prepared, when it's been trained to think positively, when it's free from fear, and when your subconscious is aligned with your goals. Only then does this mysterious sense kick in. It's intuition, but it's amplified intuition, built on experience, emotion, and deep subconscious programming. Hill is clear. This isn't something most people will master easily. It takes mental conditioning, time, and conscious effort. The sixth sense is the whisper that comes after you've done all the work. It's the creative flash, the instinct to zig when everyone else zags, the feeling to make a phone call at just the right time, or avoid a decision that looked good on paper but felt wrong in your bones. He even gets personal. Hill describes imaginary conversations with historical figures like Lincoln, Edison, and Napoleon, using them as mental guides. He would enter a relaxed state, picture these figures advising him, and receive ideas he felt weren't entirely his. Was it imagination? Maybe, but the results were real. Hill insists that these mental counsels helped him think more clearly, boldly, and creatively. This isn't about supernatural powers. It's about deep alignment. When your conscious mind, subconscious mind, emotions, and beliefs are all pointed in the same direction, the sixth sense can begin to operate. And when it does, you tap into something bigger than logic. You move into the space where genius lives. Think of the sixth sense like a radar system. When properly calibrated, it can pick up things that aren't obvious. The signals are subtle but powerful. And if you trust them, really trust them, you can make decisions others can't even comprehend. It's how leaders rise above their peers. It's how visionaries stay ahead of the game. It's how people make bold moves with confidence when everyone else is paralyzed by doubt. So, how do you access it? Keep doing the work. Stay faithful to your purpose. Remove fear. Stay emotionally charged. Surround yourself with powerful minds. Protect your energy. Over time, your inner radar sharpens. You'll begin to feel it, this quiet, confident awareness that guides your actions. Hill makes no apology for how abstract this sounds. The sixth sense is the final step. It's the part that separates mechanical success from true greatness. It's not just about grinding, it's about tapping into something more. When you do, you don't just think and grow rich. You live with intuition, purpose, and wisdom. Chapter 14, Outwitting the Six Ghosts of Fear. Chapter 14 of Think and Grow Rich hits like a final warning shot. After laying out all the principles for success, desire, faith, autosuggestion, specialized knowledge, persistence, mastermind groups, Napoleon Hill ends with a bold truth. None of it matters if you're ruled by fear. This chapter is about identifying and outwitting what he calls the six ghosts of fear, those subtle, persistent forces that sabotage our dreams before they can even take root. Let's break them down. Fear of poverty. This is a big one. Hill says most people are paralyzed by the fear of not having enough money. It shows up in risk aversion, hesitation, procrastination, and low self-worth. You'll find yourself rationalizing safe choices, staying in miserable jobs, or avoiding bold investments, all because you fear going broke. Hill doesn't sugarcoat it. This fear kills ambition. Fear of criticism. This one's sneaky. It's not just about someone calling you out. It's about that internal fear of looking stupid, failing in public, or being judged. You second-guess your ideas. You keep quiet when you should speak up. You live for approval. And the cost? You play small. He'll insist you must learn to think for yourself, boldly, unapologetically. Fear of ill health. This fear sucks energy. You worry constantly about your body breaking down, about disease, about getting old. And ironically, Hill says this fear often creates the illness we fear through mental focus. It's psychosomatic paralysis. His advice? Focus on vitality. Fill your mind with thoughts of health, not disease. Fear of loss of love. This fear shows up in jealousy, possessiveness, and emotional dependence. You cling, you chase, you settle. Hill argues that fear in relationships drains your power and keeps you from focusing on personal growth and mission. Real love isn't rooted in fear. It's rooted in confidence. Fear of old age. It's the dread of becoming irrelevant, weak, and unimportant. Society feeds us fear, but Hill reminds us some of the greatest achievements in history came from people after 50, 60, even 70 years of age. Age isn't the enemy. Fear of aging is. Fear of death, the most universal and most misunderstood. Hill isn't trying to get spiritual here. He's practical. Death is inevitable. But fearing it keeps you from living fully. The goal is peace, not denial. Fear of death robs you of joy and present moment intensity. Now here's where Hill ties it all together. Fear is a state of mind. And since your mind can be controlled, fear can be controlled. Every success principle in this book is built on that foundation. If your mind is dominated by fear, then desire can't take root, faith can't grow, and success won't stick. He'll even outline symptoms of these fears, like indecision, doubt, worry, overcaution, procrastination, lack of ambition, self-deprecation. These aren't just bad habits. They're signs of mental weakness caused by fear. So how do you kill the ghosts? You don't fight them head on. You replace them with clarity, with burning desire, with faith, with decision, with action. The principles in this book aren't just tools for success. They are weapons against fear. And this chapter ends with challenge. Look at your life. Name your ghosts. Which fears are stealing your power, your money, your relationships, your dreams? Don't lie to yourself. Hill says awareness is step one. The rest is discipline. This isn't just self-help advice. It's a battle plan. Outwit fear or be owned by it. There is no in-between. Now that you've read the book, Hill's final message is clear. Riches begin in the mind, and so does poverty. The only question left is, which one are you choosing to grow? And there you have it, the timeless wisdom of Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. Remember, wealth doesn't start in your wallet, it starts in your mind. If today's summary inspired you to take action, imagine what applying just one of these principles could do for your future. Which of the 13 success principles stood out most to you? Let me know in the comments below. I read every one. For more life-changing book summaries like this, make sure you subscribe to Detailed Book Summaries and turn on the notification bell so you never miss a breakthrough. And if this video gave you value, please give it a like and share it with someone who's ready to grow rich, starting with a single thought. Thanks for watching, and remember, your mind is your greatest asset. See you in the next video.